The Haunting Tales of TimeHill Season 2. Chapter 1: The Cursed Air and the Haunted Mansion. In the late 1970s, by a quiet lakeside, the abandoned mansion of the Quinn family still loomed in silence. Though time had eroded its beauty, traces of its former grandeur remained. Yet within its walls and creaking floors, dark secrets lingered. Shadows clung to its corridors, whispering stories of a dreadful past. The townsfolk still spoke of it in hushed voices. Years before, a group of students once dared to enter, only to vanish without a trace. All that was left behind were faint silhouettes. It was believed that anyone who dared approach, and dared to take what did not belong to them, would pay with their soul. Time passed. One morning, a dark-colored car pulled up at the mansion gates. From it stepped the dignified, elegant woman, Margaret Quinn, accompanied by her 17-year-old daughter, Rosalind Quinn. It was the first time Rosalind had ever set foot in the Quinn mansion, a place sealed and abandoned since the war, a place her mother had never wished to return to. But fate, or perhaps some ancient curse, had drawn her back here. Later, Margaret organized a birthday gathering inside the mansion, inviting friends including Arina, Rosalind's childhood companion. Laughter filled the rooms, and for a while, it seemed like an ordinary party, until Rosalind suggested a game. Hide the gift and hide yourself. She closed her eyes and began counting, yet each number spoken seemed to awaken something within the house. When she opened her eyes and began to search, every step was followed by whispers in the dark, shadows slipping along the walls, the wooden floor echoing as though someone walked behind her. She was drawn toward the pitch-black basement, behind her grandfather's portrait. A whisper warned,
"Do not open that book."
Rosalind froze, but when she pulled out an old box, she assumed it was the gift her friend had hidden. She tried to pry it open with a pin, cutting her hand in the process. A drop of blood fell onto the lid. At once, the box sprang open with a blinding light. Inside was a black leather-bound book, emanating a strange, ominous aura. The moment the book opened, the spirits of the long-dead maids of the Quinn family burst forth from its pages. Her scream echoed through the mansion. Before she collapsed unconscious, her friends rushed out from their hiding places in terror, forgetting about the hidden gifts. Those presents had vanished into the walls, as though swallowed whole. In truth, they had been dragged into a place no one dared speak of. The party came to an abrupt end. Margaret dismissed the guests, thinking her daughter had only fainted from exhaustion and stress. She let Rosalind rest in her room, unaware of what had begun. That night, shadows stirred once more within the mansion. The mansion had chosen its new heir, and the curse once sealed had awakened again. Chapter 2: Legend of the Curse. Decades ago, in the year 1942, there lived a girl named Leora, who worked tirelessly at the railway tunnel of TimeHill station to help her father. She was strong and dutiful. One day, Lord Mortimer Quinn, the wealthiest man in town, came to inspect the work. He struck by Leora's diligence and beauty. He ordered the foreman to negotiate with her father, offering him a large sum of money to take Leora to his manor. Though she resisted, for she already loved a young man named Thomas, also working at the station, her mother begged her to accept. And so, Leora could not escape her fate. She left for the manor against her will. Inside the mansion, she endured hard labor, harsh beatings, and the cruel torment of Ophelia, Lord Mortimer's wife, who feared that Leora would become her husband's mistress, just as the other maids before her, maids who had mysteriously vanished. The manor itself was whispered to be cursed, built near the graves of laborers who perished constructing the railway tunnel, their bodies buried in the grounds behind the estate. Some said, lost forever in the lake nearby. Then came dreadful news: her father had fallen gravely ill. Worse still, the family had never received the promised money. Her father died in misery, leaving behind only her mother and younger sister. Leora was forbidden to leave, her grief twisting into rage. To control her, they chained her wrists and ankles, for she once tried to escape to see her family. Every step she took echoed through the halls, the clatter of dragging chains haunting the manor. One day, while cleaning the cellar, she discovered a hidden passage. Inside lay countless relics of the past, and among them, a wooden chest. Drawn to it, she opened the box and found a black-bound journal. She kept it in secret, pouring all her anguish and fury into its pages. A testimony to the Quinn family's darkest sins. But Leora grew weaker by the day. Her frail body could no longer endure the torment. In her final moments, she dragged her chained feet to the hidden well behind the manor and ended her life there. With her dying breath, she inscribed one last curse. To all who are born of this bloodline, you shall never know the light of happiness. May you be consumed by unending torment, until your lineage is erased from this earth. That very same year, on Halloween night of 1942, amidst the chaos of war, the Quinn family prepared to leave town to visit their daughter, Margaret Quinn. But as they arrived at platform 13 of TimeHill station, a bomb struck. The entire Quinn family perished that night. Yet the black journal remained hidden within the manor's shadows. And the curse of Leora still lingers, waiting for the day it will be awakened once more. Chapter 3: The Keeper of the Cursed Secret. The chirping of morning birds stirred Serene awake on a bench at the old railway station. She was disoriented, but soon realized this was the very same station she had seen in a painting at the Tamlis Hall Museum. A young newspaper boy walked up and handed her a paper. She took it, but the print was blurry to her eyes, until a young man approached and offered her a pair of glasses. It was Marcus, her lover, also drawn into this place by the mysterious painting. Serene unfolded the paper and discovered the date, October 30th, 1970. Her heart pounded. This meant they had slipped back into the past. Together, Serene and Marcus went to the station master to ask where they were. The station master began recounting the legends of TimeHill, the explosion on platform 13, the mysterious disappearances of students and children. The townsfolk believed it was all the curse of Leora, the maid of the Quinn's family. He hinted that, if they wished to uncover the truth, they should seek out her younger sister, Sophia, the antiquarian, who held the darkest secrets of the town. Her shop was near the Western Clock Tower, not far from there. Before they left, the station master remarked that Serene bore a striking resemblance to a schoolgirl who had vanished the Halloween before in the library of Aguirre University, after the mysterious disappearance of a group of children at platform 13. Serene froze because the photo the station master showed was of her own grandmother in her student years. She kept her shock to herself. That evening, Serene and Marcus arrived at the antique shop. The place was silent, lit only by the faint glow of an oil lamp, until Sophia emerged from the shadows. They told her how they had been drawn into this strange town, hoping she could help. Sophia began to unravel the tale of the curse. After the death of her sister Leora, and the downfall of the Quinn's family, more than 20 years ago, documents were brought to Sophia, asking her to accept the Quinn's mansion and inheritance, but she refused. Time passed, and the mansion returned to Margaret, the youngest daughter of Lord Mortimer Quinn. Soon after, Margaret's daughter, Rosalind, fell gravely ill and lost her sanity. After her story, Sophia led the two down into the basement, where treasures of the Quinn's family were stored, along with strange objects that had appeared there without explanation. She told them of Leora's black book, filled with curses, still hidden in the mansion. But not all was lost. There existed another book, its counterpart, that could undo the curses. Sophia pleaded with them, find the two books and bring them to her before Halloween night tomorrow. Only then could the entire town be freed from the curse, and the two of them returned to their rightful time. Sophia guided them to the entrance of a secret passage, one that would lead to portals and places unknown. But she warned them,
do not look back until you reach the exit.
As her warning faded, the door sealed shut. Only the dim lantern light remained to guide their steps. The two stepped into the darkness, as the sound of chains dragging echoed behind them. Chapter 4: The Portal Key and the Quinn Family Secret. Amidst the falling snow on the night before Halloween, laughter still echoed hauntingly, resonating from the old well behind the Quinn's mansion. At that moment, Celine and Marcus began their search for the object that could break the curse. A sudden flash of light. Celine and Marcus stepped out from a mirror in the university's old storage room. Guided by the power of the key-shaped pendant entrusted to them by Sophia, the antique shop owner, that pendant allowed them to pass through the cursed gateways between realms. But just as they were about to leave the room,
Help me.
a chilling voice came from the mirror, accompanied by a faint reflection. It was Serena, the ballerina who had once been trapped within that mirror many years ago. She pointed toward a pair of ballet shoes placed beneath it. Celine instantly knew it was one of the cursed artifacts of the Quinn family. Yet, there was no time. Her mission with Marcus was urgent: to recover the two black books. The pendant's key gleamed, guiding them toward an ancient library deep within Ajira University. A stone door carved with faces and clocks creaked open, revealing towering shelves. Through them, the pair entered a grand, echoing library filled with floating books. In one shadowed corner, a ghostly librarian silently arranged the tomes. But what stopped Celine in her tracks was the faint image of her grandmother, a schoolgirl in her uniform. Long ago, Arina. They could not speak for long, yet Elena managed to deliver a crucial message.
Use the Black Book of Light. It is the key.
She then pointed to an ancient oak table. Upon it lay a single black book. As Celine reached for it, a whisper warned,
Do not read the final page. Use it only when the time comes. The other book rests within the Quinn's mansion.
The pendant's light then guided them once again toward a sealed-off well behind the university. In an instant, a haunting violin tune swept through the wind. Celine and Marcus, entranced, on themselves playing the violin unknowingly, they realized their bodies were being possessed by the spirits of the two students, a boy and girl, who had vanished long ago under the curse at that very well. Awakening from the trance, the two leapt into the well, emerging instead by the lake near the Quinn's mansion, surrounded by a graveyard, with the cries of crows echoing in the night. They hesitated to approach the mansion's front gate, fearing that Margaret, the mistress of the house, would turn them away as she tended to the sickly Rosalind. But then a whisper from the shadowy figures on the walls of the estate's outer rooms guided them toward a hidden entrance leading down into the mansion's underground chambers by the lakeside. Descending into the darkness, they found a damp cellar filled with broken relics and instruments of torture, once used by the Quinn family during the pre-war era. From the records and mysterious sigils carved into the walls and tables, they uncovered the truth. The Quinns were sorcerers, witches, and warlocks who tortured their servants, including Leora and many others, and sacrificed them in rituals every Halloween night. Chapter 5: The End of the Cursed Relics. The truth is revealed. The black-covered book Leora discovered in the basement in 1942 once belonged to Ophelia Quinns. Whoever wrote in it, their words would manifest into reality, twisted, magnified, and crueler than ever. The words of bitterness that Leora had written became a curse, one that turned back upon the Quinns family itself. The key's light pointed to a mysterious chest. Celine immediately knew another book must be inside. She rushed to pull it down from the shelf. At that very moment, the spirits of Lord Mortimer and Ophelia Quinns, the true owners of the mansion, appeared.
Whoever dares take my book must pay with what they love most.
Marcus seized Celine's hand, pulling her as they fled up from the basement. But Lord Mortimer's spirit grasped Marcus, holding him back. He urged Celine to run now, before it was too late. As Marcus's voice faded, a blinding light burst from the key, pulling Celine into the well, a gateway across dimensions. The bound souls of the slaves from the cemetery by the well rose up, blocking Lord Mortimer and holding him back. Celine emerged in the antique shop. She recounted all that had happened and handed the two black books to Sophia. Together, they used the key's glow to guide them toward a sacred abandoned church. When they arrived, Sophia placed the Black Book of Light atop the black book of darkness on the altar of praise. The truth of breaking the curse was finally revealed. One must write blessings and words of goodwill into the black book of light. Its sanctity, combined with the church's holy oar, would erase the curse of the dark book forever. Sophia hurriedly recited the blessings, reading aloud the sacred inscriptions left by a saint of old. But then, Leora appeared desperate to stop Sophia, her own younger sister. She could not forgive. She wanted the Quinns family to suffer as they deserved. Sophia pleaded with her. The curse was not only destroying the Quinns, but tormenting the entire town of TimeHill. And so, Sophia continued the chant. Light engulfed the church. Both books ignited and turned to ash. The curse was shattered. As midnight struck during TimeHill's annual festival on the eve of Halloween, those who had been lost to the curse began to return. Theo emerged from the clock tower. Serena stepped out from the mirror. Elliot appeared by the university well, violin in hand. The 5 missing students walked down from the train at TimeHill station. Marcus returned to the antique shop. The souls of the enslaved and the servants rose, finally free, ascending to heaven. Leora, at last, understood. With tears, she thanked her sister Sophia before her spirit faded away. Sophia handed Celine the forgotten black book and urged her and Marcus to catch the last train at platform 13 before the night was gone. There, Celine met Eilina, her grandmother, still a student in those days. Eilina was stunned. The title on Serene's notebook matched the very story she was writing as a novel. Celine asked Eilina to sign her name in the book as a keepsake. They bid each other farewell before Celine and Marcus boarded the train, which vanished into the tunnel. The special train from platform 13 carried them back to the present, but before returning home, they found themselves materializing inside a museum, their forms fading out from a mysterious painting of a woman holding a red umbrella. The next day, Celine finally returned home. She was startled to see her grandmother sitting on the sofa, reading. Celine walked over to hug her grandmother with joy and told her everything. The truth was unveiled. Her grandmother Eilina was a novelist, and this was her very first book, written from true experiences. Then her eyes drifted to the wall, where a family portrait of her parents and grandmother holding her as a child hung, and beside it, the same mysterious painting of the red umbrella woman, origin unknown.